If you're always on the go, keep going with Synergy Supreme Plus Premium Gas from Exxon and Mobil stations. It helps keep engines 2 times cleaner for better mileage, which means more time on the road and less time making pit stops along the way. Give our best fuel a try and see how far it takes you. Go on, fill up with Synergy Supreme Plus Premium Gas at Exxon and Mobil stations. Synergy Supreme Plus Premium Gas compared to Synergy Regular Gas and port fuel-injected engines. Actual benefits based on continuous use may vary.
Make your goals and dreams a reality with tips from our Musk on Fidelity special. Hear some of our Latino associates talk about life, family, and how their culture influences their outlook on money. Watch at fidelity.com/Musk.
Training, recovery, chocolate milk. Training, recovery, chocolate milk. Training, recovery. Chocolate milk is a super delicious post-workout drink, especially after loading up on squats for leg day.
My sister Louise, shout out to Louise, she's 20 years sober. She got sober through AA. She was a very similar drinker to me, a binge drinker, and she went to AA 20 years ago. She's now, I think it's like 22 years. I actually phoned her this week to ask her opinion on moderation, and she told me about a chapter of the AA Big Book, which is called The Doctor's Opinion. And I'm going to read you what she said. So this is my sister Louise. Once you take that first drink, you set up a craving that is impossible to resist. They talk about it being an allergy, and that it really makes sense to me. The penny dropped, and this realization that if an alcoholic was a person who once take a drink, sets up a craving and can't stop, then that's me. That's what goes on in my body every time I take a drink. It doesn't mean I'm lying in the gutter drinking a bottle of vodka. It's just when I take that first drink, there's a physical change that I become powerless over alcohol. It's that simple. It also helped me to have some compassion for myself, to realise that I am one of those people who has an adverse reaction to alcohol. You either do or you don't. You can either drink in moderation or you can't, and that's it. So that comes from doctor's opinion. So what Louise says is that it made her realise that it definitely is the first drink that does the damage. If you don't pick up that first drink, you can't get drunk. It's that simple. It also made her realise that the word alcoholic, as it is understood before, with all its judgments and stereotypical imagery and associations, was merely in fact a description of a person who has an allergic reaction to that first drink, rendering them powerless over alcohol. After hearing this explanation, my sister realised that she perhaps sat on that alcohol spectrum, and she stood up in her first AA class and said, I'm Louise and I'm an alcoholic. And that was 22 years ago.
Go Louise.
Go Louise, yeah.
A little shout out for Louise.
Amazing. She's amazing.
Years,
amazing. So that makes me wonder if the definition of an alcoholic is actually someone that can't moderate.
Yeah. And so, like she said there, some people are able to have one drink and leave it at that, and some people just aren't.
Yeah.
Is it really as simple as that?
Yeah, is there a physiological component to this as well? And what we were talking about earlier is that, it does take a sense of blame away, because you feel like a failure when you try to do something and then you fail at it. You're trying to moderate and you can't. So therefore you are going to feel a sense of failure, and that probably kicks in with that hangover anxiety, that sense of gosh, I only went out for one drink and look at the bloody state I ended up with a Savaloy in my top pocket.
Yeah.
So
and it's like a sense of self-loathing, hate, and all of this brings you to drink more because you do feel like a failure. So I've done a couple of AAs. It didn't actually, for me, AA wasn't what got me through to sobriety, but I did like that, what Lou said, because I think it really helps us to understand that, we were almost trying to do the impossible.
Yeah.
We weren't built like that. We weren't built to be able to have one drink and stop. And just talking about failure, it's always accompanied by a variety of emotions, things like embarrassment, anxiety, anger, sadness, and shame. And those feelings, they're so uncomfortable, and many people will do anything they can to escape that emotional turmoil, we pick up a drink and we try again, because we just can't imagine life without alcohol. And we don't want to have to face the fact that we're failing so much in this thing that we're so desperate to do.
Yeah.
And what was my one wish of all time, I just couldn't get it. And I tried and I tried. I'm one of those people who, if I want something, I try bloody hard to get it. And I usually will.
Isn't that funny that you can be so successful in so many areas of your life?
Yeah.
But that one thing, there's definitely got to be a physiological thing behind it as well, because there's that one thing. You can be a really functional human, but there's this one thing you cannot control.
And funnily, and even a functioning alcoholic or a functioning heavy drinker. I mean, I was definitely a high functioning drinker. I was able to work, build a business, be a mum, all of this stuff. That's quite a feat. Yeah, I couldn't stop after one or two drinks. It was just impossible. And so hearing that from Louise, I think it helps me to understand. I wish I'd heard it earlier.
Yeah.